Welcome to Rom Wills Money Matters. Develop a plan to pay down debt. Now, I've approached this before, talking specifically about credit cards, but you can have all types of debt from whatever. Shoot, you could have tax debt. You could have maybe some unexpected medical bill. It's so many different things that you can have debt from. Debt is debt. And I'm gonna tell you now what I've said otherwise. Develop a plan to pay it down. Develop a plan. You got to just sit down, figure out what you can pay off easier, and then build from there. And the reason I'm even talking about it, because sometimes for ideas or show ideas, I'll check out other business channels and see what they're talking about. And I keep seeing the word debt. Debt. I got this debt. I got this debt. It could be student loan debt. You know, it could be, and that's a big one right there. Now, with student loan debt specifically, other than figuring out ways you can cut it down, you can pay extra on the debt. You can pay extra. I mean, you can't get huffy over it, and it's actually better if you pay extra anyway to deal with that interest that'll be on the debt. But whatever the case, I don't care what the debt is, the first thing you got to do is first acknowledge you have the debt. That's the first thing. Two, you're going to have to say, okay, let me not spend on it. Like, for example, major debt is through credit cards. You might have to cut back on your credit card use. Now, I've talked before about it, for your credit scores and all that, you still need to spend a little bit, just a little bit. I mean, you could maybe get something, keep it, try to keep it under $100. Don't be going crazy. Get that $2,000 like TV or something like that. Are they 2,000? Yeah, probably somewhere, at least 1,000. Anyway, first cut down on what you're using credit cards for to the bare minimum. And indeed, in some cases, cut up that credit card or at least freeze it, something. But whatever the case, don't add to the debt. And then see how much money that you're making, how much money you making, how much you bringing in. What can you spare? What can you spare? Now, in general, with debt, the same thing I said with credit cards. Start with the smallest one first. Now, of course, you want to pay every single one. You want to pay what you can. And honestly, with especially with credit card debt, you do need to pay a little bit more. So hypothetically saying the bill is $35 a month, you want to give them 100, or if you real tight, at least 50. Never give them the exact minimum wage. Minimum amount. Never give them that. But once again, you want to start off with the smallest debt first, the smallest and easiest first. So you want to, even before that, let me back up a bit. Budget everything. Budget. Make sure you have money for your housing. If you have a car, that as best as possible, still have some money for an emergency. I would say this for that. Let me go on a tangent real quick. For an emergency, usually try to have at least $500, at least, at minimum. At minimum. If you can have a bit more, do that. And even when you're paying off your bills, if you give just $10 a paycheck towards your savings, that's better than nothing. So there's nothing wrong with that. So keep that at first. See how much money you bringing in. All right, you lay out all your bills. Take the one debt, the smallest debt first. Put a little while you paying everything. Put a little bit extra on that debt. Put a little bit extra to pay it off. And then, as I say for everything else, when I talked about this before, specifically with credit cards, all right, once you pay off that first one, take the same money that you were putting on to pay that. You should have a little bit more money, double up, or, put it all on the next debt. And the next one, and the next one. Now, let's be real. This ain't going to happen overnight. It could take a few years. But if you're in a position where you're not adding too much to the debt, like I said, sometimes if you need that credit score and everything, you still got to spend some money. See, that's a twisted thing. Look, let me go off on another tangent. it's kind of twisted how they got things out here. They kind of put you in a position where you need to spend money. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised to get it to the point where you have to spend money like by law. You know, I mean, yeah, you know what? I was about to make a correlation with this whole vaccination thing. I'm not even going to go there. But the thing is, you want to like plan it. And, so, it's a regular thing of paying off one, then the other, taking your time. But I'm going to tell you the biggest thing you're going to need. Well, two things. One, you're going to need discipline. You're going to need discipline more than you ever have. Indeed, you're probably in that debt position because of lack of discipline. Let's be real. Like a lot of credit cards, people spending money on stuff they don't need. They spending money on something extra that they don't need, something they wanted but don't need. So the first thing is the discipline. That's the main thing. You got to be disciplined. And then this is related to discipline, but you got to be able to hang in there, because debt can be overwhelming, and there's some people have so much debt that it might not seem like there is an end. Indeed, sadly, some people might have killed themselves over their debt. You got to hang in there. You got to hang in there. Every little bit that you take down a month, that's still a takedown. Now, I've said before. My credit was jacked up. My credit is jacked up. Anybody doxing me, they could probably find a couple judgments. And I'm telling you now, that way if somebody do find it, they can't say, yeah, Rom got these judgments. Well, Rom told you he did. Seriously, I don't have no problems admitting that. In fact, that's one of the things I need to do a book talking about that. Do a book or something special, just to let everybody know, hey, you can do it too. You can clean up your credit too. So the thing was, I went through all that, but it's totally different now. And it's going to take a while. It wasn't like overnight, but you can pay it down. You can take years to do what you need to do, but it can happen. It can happen. All right. So develop a plan to pay down debt. You can do it. Just stick to the plan. Persevere in those moments you look at it and say, man, I ain't going to do it. No, you can do it. Trust me. If Rom can, I told you my financial situations was so jacked, I couldn't even get a job with my credit. I couldn't even get a job to pay the credit. That was ironic. I was bad. But I stuck with it. Now it's like, please. I got people trying to give me stuff now. I'm like, I don't need it, though. I don't want it. I don't need it. So anyway, I want y'all to keep going. Develop that plan. So y'all know the deal. Let's go make that money.